This is for Jeanette and Mark. So you guys have one of my favorite relationships in the movie. I was wondering how much of that is in the script, how much is the direction, how much did you guys?
I think it was just what we developed. You know, we spent quite a few weeks, you know, training together, and it was literally an all-day affair. So, you know, we became very close friends, and we were competitive. Now, I was going to say, you know, we all worked out a lot, right? And Rico and I used to have like sort of, you know, muscle because we shared a dressing room, and everyone knows I was ripped, right? But the truth is out of everybody, and this is God's honest truth, Jeanette put us all to shame. When we were doing the pull-up thing, and Jeanette just doing behind the net, like nothing. And I was there saying, oh, what? 5.5. Yeah. She's the legitimate badass. But yeah, but we formed relationships.
Yeah, I mean, it was hinted at in the script. I mean, it said that the two of us were conscripted out of juvenile prison. We were both lifers, as opposed to being armed, you know, volunteer. I mean, we were conscripted. That was the idea. The choice was on life in prison or you go into the army for life. So there was a similar narrative between the two of us, and that was the reason why we were the front and the back. So, you know, but we became really good friends.
Yeah. And I can tell you, this is funny anecdote. So, you know, we started off, and Jim has all this great technology, and so we've got the steady cam arm with the real live 120-pound whatever machine gun arm on the end of it, right?
It was a static, great gun.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
But it was like literally, you know, you let this thing go. And it's like, so initially, like this was when Steadicam harness was like brand new.
Yeah.
So the first day we put them on, we were doing this like, you know, ninja stuff for Jim, and we'd go like this, and the weight of the gun would snap the vest right off our bodies. So problematical. So they, you know, when in doubt, use duct tape. They literally every morning, and this was a bitch, we would be duct taped into these motherfuckers. Did not get out of motherfuckers.
Bathroom.
You couldn't take them off all day. And I used to go home at night, because finally at the end of the day, like Jeanette and I would be standing there, just like, okay, cut the fucking thing off. They'd zip us out of it, and I would dream about that fucking thing. And then, so during the course of time, it was so cumbersome, like in between takes, Jeanette and I would sort of lumber over, and we'd sit in a chair like this. These guys are fucking around, right? Having a good time. The reason why Jeanette and I, we became such good friends because we couldn't go anywhere. No, we genuinely became good friends, but then the amazing thing is it's like, you're working together for a long, long time, and whenever, you know, that time of the month rolled around, Jeanette, bitch. She was like, oh man, fucking kill somebody. You didn't want to mess with baskets. Don't mess with baskets.
We're letting it all hang.
Michael, what was Hicks's backstory? I'm kind of kidding because I know how you're about backstory. I know the coach did.
Talking about Sigourney.
You had a question back there.
This question's from Michael. Jim seemed to like to kill you in his movies. He actually let you barely live in this one. Have you guys actually discussed ever working together again?
Oh yeah. You know, I met on Titanic, and I met him for, you know, it's well documented that I was met with him on what's the name of his big
Avatar.
Avatar. And I met him, read the script, and went in, told him all my ideas, and waited about 9 months to hear that I didn't get the role. So, but and it got out on the internet, you know, that it leaked out from Lightstorm, I believe that I was playing the role, and it came on AndyCoolNews.com, and I was doing the press for the Rodriguez movie, and they're asking me questions about it. I don't know, man, I don't know, but it took a long time for him to make that decision. So yeah, we just, you know, we stayed in contact a little bit. But
Now, was it true?
what happened really was he cast Sigourney, and then he says, you know, like, I got Sigourney Weaver, Michael Biehn, and Aliens, and there's that connection there, so he thought it was better to cast somebody else. And he went with Stephen Lang, who, by the way, I love Stephen Lang, because I did Tombstone with him, and he's an awesome guy. I was, of course, very disappointed that I didn't get the role, but if any actor could have gotten the role, for me to be happy, it was Stephen Lang, because he's the guy who created, you know, the Broadway show. You can't tell you what?
Is it?
Oh, Few Good Men?
A Few Good Men. Yeah. And you know, Nicholson did a pretty good job with it too. But, you know, so yeah. I mean, I you know, Jim's always like in some other part of the world, like diving, you know, like in Russia, like in some ocean, like some, you know, he's like all over the place. So he's not like a real social animal. So I don't see much of him unless it's business. And but I love the guy. Like I said, I take a bullet.
Is it true that you talked about doing Spider-Man with him back in the day?
No, that was never.
That's not true.
I don't know. He was doing Spider-Man. It's something came out on like, you know, it's urban, like something. Somebody writes something. He never considered me for that role because I was too old. I think I was 32 or 31 or 32, and I don't think he ever once considered it. But somebody wrote it once someplace, and it became like this kind of urban legend.
Another question, way in the back.
Yeah, my question is, all of you, what did you know about what you were fighting against on the set, and can you talk about acting against whatever you were seeing, puppets or whatever it was?
Well, there was a whole crew of stuntmen and dancers that were, you know, very physically adept, and I think even when they were off camera, didn't they have them like they were in black suits? Yeah, they were doing their shit, you know, even when they weren't in full costume. But they, you know, Stan Winston's work is pretty brilliant. Just quick.
Why don't you just go with brilliant?
But you see, you misquoted me. I didn't qualify about Jim. I said Jim. Well, you know, it's easy.
Starting again.
I said that Jim.
We have an English major over here on this end of the stage.
But
I'm sorry.
we were on the set, and I was watching Stan Winston set up like one of the little pod sets, and I was just fascinated by it. And I'm looking at it, and the guys are manipulating all these little controls, and a lot of it was just like little hand manipulation. And I was watching them from behind the set. He was one of like the little guys coming chest things. And I'm seeing the guys manipulate. I know how it works, and Stan goes, yeah, you know what? Just go around the side, and I'll do it for you. And we're on like the 4th floor of this disused nuclear like power station, right? And we're 4 stories up on metal grates and all kind of stuff. So I go around the other side, and this thing goes, ooh, and I must have left 5 feet in the air. I feel like if I'd been any closer to the railing, I would have gone over. So automatically thought, you know, God, if that happened to you, and I just saw how it worked.
You know, there's one thing, we're all used to seeing the aliens now. But at that time, I mean, Aliens 1 had come out, but it had been a long time before Alien 2. So I was a little kid when the first one came out, and it scared the hell out of me. And by the time we started, I wasn't really, you know, in the first one, you didn't see the alien very much. So in ours, all of a sudden, we're on the set, and like I said, they kind of kept us apart. So we'd eat lunch over here, and they'd eat lunch over there. And there was this one shot of this guy, and they were like dancers. Some of them were dancers, some of them were bigger. But there's this one guy, he had his alien suit on, and he had the alien head, long head over here, sitting here, and he had a cigarette.
Right.
And I just thought if ever there was a photograph, that's the one.
Another question in the middle there.
We all had kind of a rough reaction to Paul Reiser's character. I was just wondering if you guys had any fun with that on the set.
He got booed today when his name happened.
Well, you know, Paul's a very funny guy.
Oh my God.
To play that character, I gotta give him props because I didn't know he'd be able to pull that off, but he knocked that out of the park. But on the set, you know, he's not like funny ha-ha where he's telling you jokes trying to make you laugh, but he's got stories, man. He got stories, and he can entertain you just by having a conversation.
I had to ride with him.
Isn't there something about that in the audio commentary?
Did I?
Yeah, you commented about how he was
The
like.
spinach in his teeth? People Magazine came in an interview with him, and he whined about this forever while we were driving to work every day. And the guy said, "Are you making everybody laugh on the set because you're a comedian? And, you know, not a dramatic actor." And he said, "Well, if you think I walk around with spinach in my teeth trying to make people laugh, but you're wrong." And of course, the article came out and said, Paul Reiser
Walks around with spinach.
walks around with spinach. I had to listen to him whine about this. It just went on and on. But later I did a little comedy piece with him. But he's a really nice guy. But of course, there were two guys on the set. One was a guy that Jim really gave a lot of shit to. He had to do it because the character the guy was playing was this ineffective lieutenant, you know, nervous, scared, bullshit guy, right? And Jim kept hammering him all the time. But he was helping him because he wanted that guy so, you know, you knew he shit his pants every day. And it worked. It worked. His performance was wonderful. You know what you guys don't know, that a lot of the guys were SAS guys. A lot of the Marines were actually, you know, commandos that were doing this movie. They were part of our movie.
Yeah, the character that played Crow.
Oh yeah,
If you guys remember him, he was the real deal, and he used to be a hell of a stunt guy too. And unfortunately, he actually, I guess maybe about 10 years ago, he actually jumped from a plane, was parachuting, which was his first love, and the parachute didn't open up. And
But those guys,
and he fell to his death. But those guys were the real deal.
Now, Lance, I've heard you talk about how this role was a turning point for your career. Could you all kind of talk about the impact that this movie had on your career?
there's a guy leaving already.
I've heard you say this was a turning point in your career. I mean, you'd worked with Matt, you worked with Spielberg. What was it about this role?
I had a lot of fart catcher roles before that. And by that I mean, if you're just serving the movie, you know, being a good lawyer. He's leading the movie, says a joke, and he goes, and he the rest of the time, I'm standing around waiting for the next part.
I heard everything.
But anyway, so I suddenly realized that in this movie, Terminator, I had a great time because everybody else had their work to do, and I was playing a cop and a girl handled,